should make it somewhere volume, but if we go to the
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. My name is Matt Maurer. I'm on the board here, and as such, it's one of my responsibilities, or the board's responsibility, to read the pre-service announcements. And so I'm going to do that today. We have several things going on in the community. On January 12th at 5 p.m., there's a UU Humanist Free Thought group. On January 14th at 11:30 a.m., there's the UU Women's Luncheon Group. On January 15th at 11:45, there's Romeo Luncheon Group. That's retired old men eating out. On January 16th at 5:45, there is Community Connections. I'm not sure what that is, but that's what's on the list. Community Connections, January 16th at 5:45. January 18th at 1 p.m. is Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. We line up at 11, starting at Dias Park Community Center, which is at 902 James Brown Boulevard. At 3 p.m., there's the People's March at Garden City Social, 1157 Broad Street. On January 19th at 10:30 is the Parents Caucus Interest Meeting. At 12:15, there's the mid-year congregational meeting. So those are in conjunction with our service that Sunday. On January 31st at 7:30 p.m. is the final Friday jazz concert featuring Ed Fuqua. And those are our announcements for the day. Thank you.
One of the TVs is not working. It's not on yet. There's only 2 sheets.
While I'm waiting for him, I'll load us off. Pricing that helps keep up in the head.
Hello, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. Here, our mission is to create a beloved community, acting together with compassion, reason, and respect, empowering us to promote a just society. My name is Desria Seay. I'm the Faith Formation Manager here, and my pronouns are she, her. Today, I'm co-creating this service with Pastor Ceretta Smith, the UUCA Choir, our music director, Josef Patchen, our talented folks at our tech deck, and all of you. We are all shaping this moment today together. In honor of this sacred moment and respect for each other, would you please take a moment to put your devices in worship mode? If you're a first-time visitor, we encourage you to stop by the greeters table following the service to get more acquainted with the church. Fern Smith, our membership coordinator, would love to chat with you and find out about your interests. There's our membership coordinator right there. The blue card in the seat pocket in front of you can be a great guide for that conversation. You're also more than welcome to join us for coffee and snacks after worship in the common room. Existing community members will know the newcomers by the green or red name tags. These different colors indicate how comfortable folks are with engaging with new people as they explore a new experience. Green means, please speak with me. Let's get to know each other right away. And red means, say hi to me, but I prefer to get to know folks more slowly over time. And for those on Zoom, please consider staying online after the service to chat and connect with each other. Also, Pastor Ceretta Smith will be explaining about the book that she's authored, and we'll have an opportunity after service to discuss it, as well as a time if you would like to purchase one. So whether you're here in person or joining us virtually, we welcome and celebrate all of who you are, and may we now open ourselves up to the spirit of this hour. We'll start with our chalice lighting. This is authored by Ade Ama Kraba, and the title of it is To Remember Written. Spirit of life, we have come here today to remember what some are intent on making us forget. To remember a man who fought to end segregation, to remember a man who marched to counter prejudice and oppression, to remember a man who was filled with peace and hope, to remember a man with a promise and a dream, to remember a man with a voice that rang out for justice and freedom. All these things we remember and honor in the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and a life well lived in service to all. May it be so.
Would you rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 149, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
With the harmony Well, good morning, everyone. Gold stars for coming out this morning in the cold weather. I'm sure you've rugged up. I'm Margaret. I represent the pastoral care team. This is a time when you can share joys and sorrows. If it's that you have, we have an email address, pastoralcare@uuaugusta.org. We also have green cards that are in the seat pocket in front of you if you wish to fill those out, and there's a box outside on the lobby table that you can place those in. I'll drop one more stone for all those unspoken joys and sorrows that we have in our hearts. Thank you.
Now, let's send our kids out to continue their faith formation in the back. And kids, you're going to be following Miss Valerie outside, okay? All right. Now I'd like to invite you all to find a place of inner peace as we journey together through word, through silence, and through music. I bring to you all today these words written by Kathleen Rollins. Spirit of justice, God who befriends those who stand upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. We are grateful to be together this morning. We gather especially to remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but not only him, for there were thousands of unnamed women and men who put their bodies and lives on the line so that all may be free, and yet freedom comes at a cost. And we know that racism, homophobia, ageism, ableism, sexism, and classism, all of these often unacknowledged realities prevent us from fully knowing one another, from creating the beloved community spoken of by prophets and ordinary persons alike. May the work of Dr. King continue to eradicate injustice wherever and whenever we encounter it. May we continue to speak out against injustice, to speak even if we are afraid of our words, afraid that our words may not be heard or welcomed. May the spirit of Dr. King continue to flow through our daily living. May we have the courage of Dr. King as we continue to stand up for justice, reconciliation, and truth, despite challenge and controversy. Dr. King went to the mountaintop. He saw the promised land, and he reassured us we will get there one day. May that be no paradisal dream, but a reality in our own time. May it be so, and amen. As a community of faith, we are called to live out our values beyond these walls. It is custom on the second Sunday of each month to offer our support to organizations that work towards a more just and equitable world. These organizations align with our Unitarian Universalist principles, strive to address social justice issues such as human rights, environmental sustainability, and the well-being of all beings. This month, we are privileged to support the ACLU, an organization dedicated to defending the rights and freedoms of all people. Cash and checks are gratefully received, or you may use the text to give using the information about to appear on the screens. Will the ushers please come forward? Thank you all for your generosity. Thank you. It is with a great honor that I introduce today Pastor Ceretta Smith. From her service as an Army medic to her tireless advocacy for workers' rights, Pastor Smith has dedicated her life to serving others. As a successful businesswoman, a compassionate leader, and a voice for social justice, she embodies the spirit of service that inspires us all. Pastor Smith's commitment to uplifting her community is evident in her work as an elected official and in her dedication to guiding future leaders. We are fortunate today to have her share her wisdom and insights with us as we reflect on Dr. King's legacy and strive to build a more just and equitable world. And without further ado, Pastor Smith.
Good morning. I'm telling you, I'm loud and I have a lot of energy, all right? Is that okay? I want to thank Reverend Filson for the opportunity to be here this morning as we reflect on the life of Dr. King and share a little bit about my own personal story. This week, we're going to be leading into a lot of MLK Day celebrations. People all over the country are going to be gathering to honor the legacy of Dr. King. And we know that he was a man who transformed the course of history with his courage, with his vision, and his commitment to justice. Dr. King's work was not just about ending segregation or fighting civil rights, but it was more about creating a world where all people are treated with dignity, respect, and equality, regardless of their race, their background, and their beliefs. His powerful message of love, nonviolence, and hope, it continues to inspire us today, especially in a time when divisions can feel deep in our country. Dr. King's words remind us that we all are a part of the same human family. Can I get an amen? He once said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And his call to action challenges us not to be bystanders, but to stand up for what is right, to speak out against hate, and to build bridges of understanding and empathy. And while I'm no Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I do know something about one of the struggles that he faced in his life, being a black sheep. On the surface, when you hear those words, black sheep, we cringe, right? We think, oh my God, it's a horrible person. It's this person that's a troublemaker. It's this person that's always stirring up stuff. It's that one person in our family, right, that we shun, right? We don't want to see that person coming, right? But there is no greater example of a black sheep than that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was shunned. He was rejected and oftentimes misunderstood. But he is undeniably one of the most impactful leaders in American history. I know a little something about feelings of rejection, being shunned, being misunderstood. Imagine a 5-year-old little girl that should be playing with dolls and having tea parties. But instead, this little girl is trying to process 5 words. You are the black sheep. Not words that anybody in her family had spoken to her, but words in the form of thoughts that came from an unseen and an unknown voice that at that time she didn't understand. To her, those words translated into, every time your sister comes to visit, you're the one that's going to get in trouble. She never does anything wrong. And your brother never does anything wrong either. He's the baby, so he always gets a free pass. But me, I always get blamed for everything they do. You are the black sheep. Fast forward her teenage years, she's still getting in trouble in this blended family. And by the way, what is that? She would discover that for another 22 years because in her community, all they knew was I had another brother or another sister and we didn't have the same mama. Daddy had stepped out. And now she's being bullied in school because of her physical features. She has horrible acne. She's skinny. She's almost sickly looking. You are the black sheep. She suffers in silence, graduates from high school, goes to college, gets married, gets divorced, in that order, in a year's time. She's trying to figure out who she is because it's really starting to come true that she is the black sheep. She decides to run away from everybody and everything that reminds her that she's the black sheep. So she joins the military. And she ends up in Wiesbaden, Germany, and finds herself in a place that she grew up in, the church. But this church experience would be like no other church experience that she had ever had. There were Germans, there were Dutch, there were Africans, there were Brits. There was people from all types of cultures, and she had never experienced this before in her life. She gives her life to God, and layer by layer, he begins to peel away the rejection. He begins to peel away the disappointment. He begins to peel away the pain. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And when she thinks that she can finally breathe, because she has laid down her burdens down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. She laid down her burdens down by the riverside to study war no more. She had a new family in the military and in her church. She hears a voice, but this time it's a familiar voice. The voice says, research sheep. And so she sits down at her computer in Germany where you got to dial in over to get the AOL and all that. And she types in sheep, and guess what appears on the computer screen? A black sheep. And the ocean of tears began to flow, and mucuses begins to roll like the billows of a rolling sea, and she wails uncontrollably. And in that moment, it all comes full circle. And when she's finally able to contain herself, the master begins to speak. And he tells her who she is and where he's taking her and what he requires of her, because he knew one day she was going to be standing right here telling you this story. I'm sorry, give me a minute. And so her journey began of researching the black sheep, and what she discovered changed her life forever. You see, the black sheep is the leader sheep. And so the movement began to call the black sheep out of the darkness into the light to be who God created us to be, leaders. And so the black sheep, a leader in this latter day, was birthed. And there's 3 takeaways from my story. We may not have control of the family or the environment that we're born in, but we do have control of, and we are responsible for our own healing. Your perception may not always be reality. 22 years later, I found out that my perception of my situation was not the reality of my situation. I had my dad every day. He could tuck me in every night at bedtime. I got to see him every morning. I got to talk to him all through the week. But my sister, she only had weekends, holidays, and maybe summers if her mom wasn't beefing with my dad. And the most important of these 3 is to love yourself. As we reflect on Dr. King's life and the sacrifices he made, let us remember that his work is far from finished, knowing that as we step up to lead in our communities, we too have to make some sacrifices. Sacrifices that sometimes come with being misunderstood. Sacrifices that sometimes come with being shunned. Sacrifices that sometimes come with being rejected. The dream he spoke of in 1963 is still unfolding, and it's up to each one of us to carry it forward. Stay focused and remember that the gifts that are on the inside of you, they're not for you, but they're for other people. They're opportunities for us to show others kindness. They're opportunities for us to be advocates for equality. They're opportunities for us to work toward a more just society. Today we celebrate the progress we've made, but we also recommit ourselves to the ongoing fight for freedom, dignity, and peace. May Dr. King's dream continue to guide us as we remember to strive to make this world a better place for all to remember. Wherever you are today, Black Sheep, remember, you are a leader. Thank you so much.
Would you rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 169, We Shall Overcome.
Our calling in the world. We have come to the end of our service, but not our calling in the world. We close our time together with a humble reminder that justice and equity are all spiritual practices to embrace each day, every day. We are blessed to be the embodiment of what is possible. When justice and equity ground us in all that we do, may we go forth with the light and the warmth of our chalice in our hearts until we are together again.